One of the challenges, though, that sales professionals have when it comes to this is that when they think about their day-to-day grind and their quota, I call it their institutional expectation, they consider that to be above their personal potential. And I always like to say, institutional expectation, you should laugh at. In fact, I always take it as a negative, right? When I always talk to people that I'm working with, especially, I worked the other day with a real estate organization in Connecticut, and we did a huge training, and I took some of the newer agents and I said, what's the goal that your broker has for you? And they said, oh, the goal is to list 2 houses a month and to sell 1 house a month. I'm like, gosh, that sucks, right? And they're like, well, that's what they want us to do. And I said, how do you feel about that? And I'm like, isn't there a part of you that says, do you really think so little of me? Do you really think that that's what I'm capable of? Can you give me something that's a little harder to reach? So what is your personal goal? Well, I just want to make sure I could get all the leads because they're, the split's really good and they're giving me all the leads and they're giving me all these things. But what's your personal goal? Well, I don't know what my personal goal is. And I'm like, well, let's define what you're trying to accomplish here. Well, I want to make 100 grand a year. Okay, well, let's do the roadmap. So we reverse engineer the goals, right? Yeah. So I always say, if what you accomplish is the institutional expectation, you're not living your full potential. You're just not.
Can I you know what I call that? I call it the fog the mirror goal. That leaderboard you saw upstairs, that revenue goal, that number of account goal, and the new account goal is as low as I can set the bar. It's the average. Do you want to be average? I don't want to be average.
No,
and
it's
not. Like the fog the mirror goal. If you actually did the most basic of things, like actually show up at 8:30, actually work from 8:30 to 5 or even 6, which would be, we joke and say the 4:59 club at the elevator. When I was younger, and I don't mean to go here, I won't mention names, I would never have lined up at that door, especially when my boss is watching.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm in the sales director seat. They're doing a great job. They've made huge progress. I'm very proud of the team. I've been in that seat since January 2nd. But what I need help with, what I need your help with, is how do I get this institutional expectation? Because I don't want to talk demeaning, but it is the bare minimum. It's not that I don't think that little. It's just that we have to have some standard.
Yeah.
So we want to raise our standards, right? That's a Tony Robbins thing, I think. But I totally get what you're saying. You say it so much better, but institutional expectations are kind of low.
Yeah.
I mean, in any institution, right?
Most of them, yeah. They always look at it as being arm's reach. We want to put it in a place where they at least can achieve it, and I'm okay with that.
Sure.
But remember, the idea here, especially with salespeople, is to really unpack why are they really in this role. What about the sales role is encouraging to them? Compensation, the product, the service, the value, the idea to help people.
You're inspiring me. Like you're like, Glenn, you're better than that.
Absolutely.
You can do better than that.
So there's a component of the motivation, but what is motivation, right? It's emotion in motion, right? So that's not sustainable alone. If I were to, work with you, Glenn, and your team, I would say, number one is we got to focus on their mindset, which speaks to motivation, true.
Yeah.
So that's mindset 1. 2, we got to focus on systems and processes that sustain and can help sustain a level of emotion, motivation. So it drives them, right? And the third part is we got to put the right compensation plan in place so that it also speaks to the desire to want to go. So I worked with an organization recently where they haven't changed their comp plan in quite some time. We were looking at it and all I said was, let's not lower tremendously what we have. Instead, let's make one little adjustment on one where if they just focus on this, they're not going to make as much if they did the same as last year. But let's add a multiple if they hit a certain number. And the multiple is substantial. But we also worked on some of the margin controls as well. And next thing you know, so far this year already, what they've accomplished in January is almost what they've accomplished all of last year, Q1.
Wow. The 3, if you can
I
start
call
over.
it mindset, which is the emotion component, the mindset.
Mindset,
Yep.
okay.
The second part is the systems and processes in place.
Systems, got it.
Right? And then third one is the compensation.